very important press conference where we are going to demand and expect that the Board of Supervisors of Prince William County withdraw from this failed lawsuit and this failed industrialization of our communities. The history books are being written right now. And where this Board of Supervisors will be seen in the context of history and the threat to our communities, to our grid, to our water, and to our air, that final chapter has not been written. I don't know how many people are aware of Pageland Lane, but I swear in the soil of that corridor are the buried bodies of soldiers, Union soldiers, Confederate soldiers, people who were once enslaved. And the history and the legacy that they've left behind, it is a haunted corridor. Nothing, no application, Disney couldn't get through there, and the digital gateway will not either. Hear, hear. I want to thank all the citizens and all the environmental groups for over 3 years have fought to protect this area. We swore we would never give up, and we never did. We didn't know exactly how we were going to prevail, but we knew that there was no choice. We stood here December 11th, 2023, with counsel in hand. Matt Haddow was here as well, and we warned the board. We warned them there was a defect in the advertisement, and that if they persisted, so then would we. There are 2 reasons why this application is going to be overturned. One, the defective notification. And why did they do it? Why did Ann Wheeler and supervisors persist? It was a lame duck board. And I'll tell you what, the appellate judges, they saw it too. And I'm going to quote from their decision. Given that the December 13, 2023 vote was 4-3 with 1 abstention, however, it is unclear whether the board would have approved the rezonings if the question had been postponed to a later hearing date to satisfy the advertising rules. Chairman Ann Wheeler cast the deciding vote, and her term ended in 2023. At least one supervisor suggested at the December 12th meeting that the vote was being rushed through so that Chairman Wheeler could vote in the rezonings before the Board of Supervisors was reconstituted in the new year. And that statement was made by Supervisor Yesley Vega. What you all need to understand as well is that that board was warned by the current county attorney. In the decision by the appellate court, what they said is there is no question that a decision, that decision to vote for the digital gateway was made under false pretenses and ultimately a decision they knew was at risk. Because this is what the county attorney told them. November 30th, 2023, Michelle Roble wrote to them in an email. Earlier today, county staff received an inquiry from one of the legal counsel for the digital gateway rezoning applicants regarding whether the legal advertisement for the board's December 12th public hearing was published in the November 28th edition of the Washington Post. She continues and she writes, if the board proceeds with the December 12th public hearing on these rezoning applications and the board's action on the applications is challenged, there will likely be a legal argument that the legally required advertisement requirements were not met, and thus the board's action would be invalid. We advise the board procedural challenges, including challenges to the advertisement, are generally the most serious legal issues localities face regarding land use applications. Virginia courts have not been deferential, as we can clearly see, to localities regarding procedural issues, particularly recently. There is significant risk when dealing with a procedural advertisement issue, and there are no guarantees with litigation. This is important to remember. Through their legal counsel, the applicants, who are the applicants? QTS and Compass.
We the people.
No, in this case, it's QTS and Compass are the applicants for the digital gateway. Their legal counsel stated they are willing to accept the legal risk involved and proceed with the December 12th public hearings. This is what the appellate court ruled on March 31st. We further hold that Judge Irving correctly found that the board's advertising for the December 2023 public hearing violated Code 15.2-2204A and Prince William County Ordinance 32-700-60, rendering the rezonings void. Rarely in life do we get a do-over, and certainly not an elected body. They have an opportunity to right their wrong. And citizens are looking to have them restore some semblance of trust in those we elect to represent us. We want the County Board of Supervisors to formally withdraw from the digital gateway. Do not waste this rare opportunity that we the people work so hard to make happen. Do not waste one more dime on this folly and start healing this community.
All right.
Oh, and my name's Elena Schlossberg, which I forgot to say. Thank you, Elena. That was Elena from the Coalition to Protect Prince William.
Could you say your last name just for the bride?
Elena Schlossberg. Okay. Was that good? All right, great. So, and my name is Ashley Studholme. I'm the Executive Director with the Prince William Conservation Alliance, and thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon. PWCA, in the beginning, said that we are not opposed to data centers. We recognize that they were part of our modern reality when they are properly sited. But beginning in 2022, we became increasingly concerned as proposals emerged in locations that pose serious risks to our long-term sustainability of our communities and our natural resources. Prince William County is home to nationally significant protected lands, including 2 national parks. That's Manassas National Battlefield and Prince William Forest Park. And both of them were being targeted by this industry. And these are places that are not only part of our shared history, but they also anchor the rural area of this county and protect critical natural systems that support clean water, wildlife habitat, and quality of life for all residents. In just 5 years, we have gone from approximately 5 million square feet of data centers to more than 80 million square feet. And we warned about the cumulative impacts of developing at this pace and scale. We raised concerns about power demand, air quality, the expansion of transmission lines and substations, impacts to our water supply and groundwater, and increases to our bills that pay for this infrastructure. These concerns are no longer theoretical. We are witnessing the increasing strain on our energy infrastructure, the growing reliance on diesel backup generation, the the mounting pressure on our water resources, and data centers are not paying their fair share. We are carrying much of that load. New studies continue to affirm what we've been saying for years. One issue that's received less attention, though, but is critically important, is the strain on our watershed. This level of development is too intense for this fragile system that we rely on for our sustainable drinking water, both groundwater and from the Occoquan Reservoir. When we pave over lands, we reduce its ability to absorb and filter water. Over time, that affects water quantity and quality, stream health, and ultimately the reliability of our drinking water supply. Increasingly, the question being asked is, how much can we build before the system breaks? Residents of Prince William and Fairfax should not be the test case for that question. We are no longer in 2022. The cumulative impacts we warned about are here, and they are projected to likely get worse. But with this court decision, we have an opportunity to pause, and we would be wise to take it. Continuing to pursue this project through litigation does not move us toward a sustainable outcome. We are more than data centers and sprawl housing development in this county. Instead, let's ask ourselves what kind of future we want here for this land. What could we incentivize that honor its history in a way that helps us reflect on ourselves? To enhance the visitor experience of Manassas Battlefield and Conway Robinson State Forest, and protects our critical drinking water resources. How can we do that and support and diversify our economy? Withdrawing from this lawsuit is the first step in that direction. Thank you.
My name is Matt Haddow. I'm the president of the Oak Valley Homeowners Association, which is a community of 254 homes in the western part of Prince William County in the Gainesville district that the Board of County Supervisors elected to ignore when they made their decision on August the 12th of 2023 and the voices that we raised. But I need to recognize, before I start, the great effort and the contribution in protecting his citizens that former Supervisor Bob Weir made. Yeah. His efforts and his courage were recognized by this appeals court decision repeatedly. They pointed to the fact that Supervisor Weir came out of closed session, which, by the way, we believe is abused routinely by this Board of County Supervisors, where they should be holding discussions that are strictly legal issues, and instead they conspire against the citizens of Prince William County in those closed sessions. And today they ought to ignore that session. They ought to come out in the open and have this discussion and force the county attorney to account for her role in what happened here in this very And I can tell you that the other thing that is ignored easily in this 53-page document, and I encourage all to read it, I've read it 8 times, because each time it clears up some issues that are important to what this case is about. And what is ignored often is the fact that in order for this case to have proceeded, it required that the citizens who filed the lawsuit had to have standing. And I congratulate the Coalition to Protect Prince William County and Elena Schlossberg for standing up. We also had plaintiffs that joined the Oak Valley lawsuit because they were directly impacted by this horrible decision by the Prince William Board of County Supervisors in order to become literally the lapdogs of the data center industry and override the rights of the citizens, which was affirmed by this appeals court decision. Because in order for us to have standing, we had to demonstrate clearly that we were going to be impacted on safety levels. The court affirmed that that was true. That was also affirmed by Judge Hudson, even though he didn't allow for an evidentiary hearing to proceed about the mistake that was made by the clerk to the Prince William Board of County Supervisors on the advertisement issue. He did recognize that we had standing, and that standing included not only safety, it included traffic concerns, it included property value losses, all of which were ignored by the Board of County Supervisors on December the 12th, and they decided that they were going to be in favor of multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations rather than represent the people that had elected them to be their protector when it came down to the brass tacks of this decision. And this decision favored international data center companies, and it desecrated the battlefield. It ignored the rights of the immediately adjacent citizens along the way. That issue is critically important and should be considered by this Board of County Supervisors in the next step, the next critical step, which is to withdraw from this appeal. Now, there's a reason why they should. Because all of the issues that are important to this county Board of Supervisors have already been evaluated by the courts. The only reason that there would be a Supreme Court evaluation would be for the data centers to try to undermine the argument of standing that's been approved now by 5 judges, showing that we have standing. That's the only issue that's left. And if this Board of County Supervisors elects to proceed with funding an appeal that already has cost more than $2 million. Now, that sounds like a lot of money, and it is. That is a pittance compared to what the data center companies have invested in millions and millions of dollars to fight this lawsuit against a small group of citizens. It has often been characterized as David versus Goliath, and it is. But David won in this case. What Supervisor Bob Weir recognized when he came out of closed session and courageously challenged the advice of the county attorney and the decision by the majority of the board was, why not wait? Why not have a properly advertised hearing? He was ignored. The county attorney said, oh, you can't allow this to proceed now into the court hearings. You've got to appeal it, because she said that the reputation of the board would be impaired because of the rezoning decision-making authority that they have. What has undermined the reputation of this board is that they ignored 27 hours of testimony of individual citizens.
We the people.
3 in the morning.
What has undermined the credibility of this board is that after those hours and hours of testimony by the citizens that they were elected to represent, they ignored it and immediately went to a vote that was choreographed, it was predetermined, and it was what the data centers wanted. Before the data centers controlled Prince William County, it was the residential housing developments. This building was for sale to whoever came in and gave them the most money, the individual members of the Board of County Supervisors. We're seeing it today. We see the data center operators are giving money to supervisors that sit on that dais for community events, for parties, for fireworks demonstrations, all against the interest of the citizens that they were elected to represent, and they are bought and paid for, and the time is now to say no more. We're going to restore the reputation of the Board of County Supervisors. We're going to follow what the courts have decided, and we're going to withdraw this appeal and restore the reputation that they defend us, not those multi-billion-dollar national corporations. You know how to do it.
Thank you, Mac. My name is Vida, Carrol. I'm on the leadership of the Civic Association of Brentsville and surrounding areas. And the Brentsville district is the district in Prince William County with the highest concentration of data centers. And first and foremost, I want to thank all the media here today, and I want to thank the plaintiffs and the citizen activist groups who have dedicated their time, money, energy, knowledge base, emotional stock into this lawsuit. This lawsuit, we know, has taken a toll on the entire community. It's really ripped our community apart, and I cannot thank the residents who have been in this fight alongside me for years, and I can't thank them enough for stepping up. In December 2023, before the Digital Gateway public hearing, this community held a press conference right here. What we were advocating for that night is what we are still advocating for today. And it's a very simple thing, that our elected officials follow the law. Today, we are asking, 1, our elected officials to follow the law, and 2, for the board to accept the court's decision and to stop using our taxpayer dollars to fight against us, the taxpayers. In just the past month, Prince William County has once again violated the ordinance set in place for proper public notice. During the March 11th Diamond Hill Substation public hearing, a substation needed to power an adjacent data center campus. Once again, the county ignored the laws set in place and violated public notice. And with this recent violation in mind, is it fair for citizens to ask, when is Prince William County going to do better? When are they going to do better in the basic requirement of following the law, but also in how transparency around development is handled in the county as we move forward past the digital gateway? In 2026, we can assuredly say that data development has widespread impacts on our watershed, on our environment, noise quality, local air temperature, air quality, climate. We now know with certainty that every single data center built here in Prince William County triggers a domino effect of infrastructure upgrades needed, substations, power lines, and ultimately energy generation. And this impacts the entire state and the entire region. We are calling on our elected leaders to recognize that our rural land is simply not vacant, undeveloped land. Our rural land is a home to wildlife. It is a protector of our rich historic treasures. It acts as a quiet economic hub for small-scale farmers in Prince William County. And of course, our rural lands act as an important safeguard to our watershed, which is the Occoquan watershed, which provides clean drinking water to eastern Prince William County and almost all of eastern Fairfax County. It is time to turn the page and move on from the Digital Gateway lawsuit. The board absolutely 100% must put this lawsuit to rest and stop funding it with taxpayer money. The county must move forward united with its residents to protect Prince William County from widespread industrialization, especially ones that inexorbitantly and unfairly target the rural land. Thank you so much. And this is Ann Bennett with Sierra Club.
So when I thought about what I wanted to say today, I sort of reflected back to December 2023 during that rushed all-night hearing on the Digital Gateway where many of us stayed all night, literally. First, it reminded me, when I look back at my own remarks that night, that the staff and the Planning Commission recommended denials on all 3 of the applications. We agreed with staff that in its recommended denials, these rezonings failed to deliver sustainability measures as outlined in the CPA, the county carbon emission reduction goals, the community energy and sustainability master plan, and common sense requirements for any industrial development that pulls or may pull 3 to 7 gigawatts of power. In fact, we testified to the fact that a successful development would require, quote-unquote, stringent and state-of-the-art requirements for energy-efficient buildings, a significant commitment to renewable energy, sustainable water use, and more natural resource and wildlife protections. Today, with energy in particular, we are beginning to see the worst of both worlds, a stressed power grid and increased energy bills, and also companies seeking non-renewable power sources such as natural gas turbines that are not subject to renewable portfolio standards. In anticipation of the power and climate risks associated with data centers, we asked about energy efficiency. How are you going to reduce the impact on the grid? Alternative green energy, and the fact that these applications had not one solar panel associated with any of them. And today, in April 2026, there's no ambiguity to the impacts of data centers. We know, and the board should know too. The situation is far more dire, and the business as usual approach to build with inadequate plans and policies in place functions as a backhoe working overtime, digging us a deeper and deeper hole. In 2023, we also raised the issue of diesel fuel backup generators and their unhealthy byproducts, spewing particulates, nitrogen oxides, and other toxics. We suggested then that the board require the solar microgrids with battery backup instead to ensure clean air backup that's now getting more attention, and they did not. If this goes forward, this project could result in the installation next to a federal national park where we estimate it could be anywhere from 1,000 to 2,800 new tractor-trailer sized generators. And what is different now in 2026 is that these generators are now being approved not just for backup power in emergencies, but for quote-unquote non-emergency use, lacking the 500-hour per year limit. Very scary for the park and for all Northern Virginians who share and breathe the same air. Not only is it imperative that the board walk away from this deficient project in order to protect the national park, the state forest, and nearby residents and the region's drinking water, but it is a recognition that the data center build out has gone too far in degrading our communities. Nothing is sacred anymore. Not a university campus, churches, not youth soccer fields, not county-owned land, not popular garden centers, not our federal and state public lands. Each another domino falling.
Graveyards.
Each degrading our quality of life here in Northern Virginia. Enough is enough.
Are there any questions that you want to ask any of the speakers, or yes? Yes, Carrol?
I'm Jill Palermo with Princeton Times, Country Times. The question I have is, are you all worried if they give this project out that they'll look, more favorably toward the one that's been proposed directly north of here that's like 1,900 acres?
Okay.
Cosmos? Can you share your position on that and how you see that?
I think Ann Bennett and all of us just explained why that would be atrocious. There's no hindsight now. You can't say, as an elected leader, oh, if only I knew now what I knew then. You know it now. You know about the diesel generators. You know about the threat of the gas turbines and the gas plants. You know about the watershed threats. You know about the grid. You know about the rising electricity rates. What Ann Bennett is describing is it's not just the failure of the digital gateway. We have to put a fork in it. It's done. But now this board has to make different decisions moving forward for new applications coming before them. There's no excuse now. The existential threat is here. Mark Christie, Judge Christie, who was a judge for the State Corporate Commission, recently said, I used to think that the threat to the grid was across the street. Now it's in your home. The threat has arrived. When are the responsible decisions going to happen, not just from our local elected leaders, but from our state? Right. Why is Governor Spanberger so wishy-washy on supporting the end of the tax subsidy for the wealthiest industry in the world? We are sick and tired of covering the bills for this industry.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Did that answer your question? Would anybody else like to add?
The Sanders Lane application, Jill, also specifically cites compatibility with the digital gateway to the south. So if the digital gateway does not exist, part of the application's own justification for that project is undermined.
And I would just add too that, like what I said before, we are more than data centers and housing everywhere. And there is a smart growth framework that we put together, the 3 R's of reaching our potential, that we could implement and utilize and diversify our economy, build, those work, live, play, thriving communities, and incentivize having a robust rural economy. And I think in those lands, we want to reimagine them as rural spaces that can protect our watershed as well.
I think there's an additional issue here that really needs to be considered. Housing developments, we would not be allowed to build a residential development in Prince William County if there was not electricity to power the homes, water to fuel the homes, and the sewer system. But yet this Board of County Supervisors will allow a data center development one after another that doesn't have the electricity.
Yeah.
They don't. They can't get the water without degrading the existing water aquifers that are out there, draining the groundwater from existing residents. This Board of County Supervisors will allow for data centers to be built, even though they don't have the infrastructure to support them, all by the excuses, well, there's a demand out there. Well, there's also availability of lots of land that is more compatible for data center development than right up against the school, right up against the residential community, that will overload the transportation systems, that will create serious safety risks as recognized by the appeals court for the people that live there because of the sound levels and because of the pollution coming, as was mentioned, with all of these diesel generators. And what you hear from the data center people, oh, there are future technologies that we think will address all of those problems. Well, let's not build them till they do. And let's make them prove it. That's the bottom line.
Any other questions?
Do you all invite any supervisors to come out here today with you?
No.
You do.
Well, it's also, this is
It's public. They can come.
they could come if they wanted, but this is also,
You're in the lawsuit.
the reality is they are in the lawsuit right now. So it would not be appropriate for them, and we recognize that. But I think nobody can look at what is happening not only to Prince William, not only to Northern Virginia, not only to Virginia, but there are states around the country. We are all fighting for the same thing, for a future that we see ourselves in. And at some point, we're going to be exchanging what is our real world for this digital world full of substations and transmission line wires and loud diesel generators. And what are we leaving for us and for our children? And if you think watching this doesn't include you, it does. It includes everybody behind that camera. You pay an electricity bill. You breathe air. You need water. Enough is enough. It is time to turn the page. It is time to look forward to a vision that Ashley has described. This community has been suffering. And that is not an overstatement. I don't know who here dreams every night of fighting data centers. Matt, I know you do. We all do. It is time to return some semblance of peace to the people.
And are you expecting a public vote on what? So far, we've only seen the supervisor vote on spending more money to defend the digital gateway. Are you expecting there to be reasonably to be a public vote about whether they will, or drop?
I think Matt stated it very well. We are expecting that these conversations are going to happen in the public eye. We are here simply as citizens, pleading with our board to do the right thing and do it in public. Everybody is watching you.
The answer to that question, it takes one supervisor to walk out of the closed session where they will be warned again by the county attorney, oh, you can't withdraw from this appeal for a litany of reasons that have nothing to do with the law, that have everything to do with covering up the bad decision that was made initially and an error that was made identified by the court. one supervisor walking out and saying, I move that we withdraw from further appellate court proceedings and let's let the public vote. Don't let them do it behind closed doors. Don't let them listen to a county attorney that's already corrected by this. Make them vote. One supervisor, let's have the motion today, we hope.
But if they do behind closed doors, we'll take it.
The world is watching. The world is watching what happens. The digital gateway is truly the microcosm and the model of everything that went wrong with this industry.
Absolutely.
And it started here in Western Prince William, and we have an opportunity to be leaders in showing how to do the right thing.
Right on, nothing.
Any response to the notion that the county would suffer reputational harm as a result of the hearing?
The county's reputation died in 2023 when they passed the digital gateway.
No, this is their opportunity to redeem their reputation. Take it. This community didn't just light a fire to protect ourselves. We have created the kind of critical mass that people around the world are coming here to figure out, how do you fight like this? How do you stop this kind of onslaught of money that none of us could ever imagine we would be able to prevail against? And Oak Valley, they have become the strength of an oak tree.
Oh yeah,
To that question, I think that the most important thing this board could do is to look at the record that occurred after the defect was observed. And the testimony that was provided in the court was that the county clerk said, upon notice that the publication didn't get published on a timely way, she went to the county attorney's office. That's in the court record. She went to the county attorney's office and said, hey, there's a problem. They then said, the county attorney wasn't present, but the deputy was. They went down the hall to the county executive's office, and they decided what they were going to do. They didn't say from that meeting, we're going to come out and we're going to recommend to the board that they simply re-advertise, do it properly, and then have their vote. What they decided was, let's convince the Washington Post that they should sign an affidavit saying it was their fault. Now, the Washington Post, with 3 separate people in deposition, said, no, it wasn't our fault. It was the county's fault. We gave them multiple opportunities to correct the error prior to publication. They did not do it. And what the court determined was they waived their responsibility at that point. But here's the most important thing. Why wouldn't the county attorney and why would not the county executive say, let's look at this. Let's examine who was at fault, not try to shift the blame to the Washington Post automatically. Why wouldn't we conduct an investigation? Within minutes, they decided on a strategy which was to obfuscate and cover up. Had they done the investigation that the court did, that cost our community a lot of money to go through and hours of agony and depositions, and all of this could have been resolved by the proper actions of the people that were hired to protect this Board of County Supervisors, and they forfeited that the minute they decided to try to blame someone else rather than themselves. The courts corrected that record. And now we're left with the remnants of what is a very bad decision. Let's fix it today. Let's withdraw from this appeal, and let's restore, I think appropriately, the reputation and trust in the Board of County Supervisors.
Okay, no more questions. That concludes, once again, another press conference in front of the McCourt Building about data centers and saving the world. So thank you, everyone, for coming. And thank you to the community. Give yourself a round of applause.